Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com with match number 4 with the Bedlam Reveler deck. Yes, we'd like to play first. This is fine-ish. The Collective Brutality is just this. I am very impressed with this card. The more and more I play this card, the more impressed I am with it. I think it does everything you want the deck to do. Still kind of iffy about the Reality Smasher out. Love to see like green-white tokens here. All right, so it does look like it is going to be green-white tokens. So we get to rematch the green-white tokens. Most likely. I mean, Oath of Nissa is pretty splashable. I think even some like Crush decks are running it. Like the blue-green Crush. And I'm trying to see what he revealed because it puts an island. So it does look like blue-green Crush. Again, it's just, this is bugged on MTG. It's supposed to show you what it reveals and never does. All right, so Goblin Dark-Dwellers is a great card. I don't think we quite use Collective Brutality. I'm just going to go Mountain and then pass a turn. Visionary. Collective Brutality will most likely, yeah, I don't think there's anything better. We'll choose 2 modes. I just think 2 modes is right. I don't think we need the life because we still need the... Or just maybe we'll just... I think actually we just do 1 mode because we do want all the lands. And we do. We hit the part of Water Veil, which is good. He's anticipating Chandra. Chandra, yeah, Chandra's good versus us. 2 turns away from the Reality Smasher. So anticipate Chandra Evolving Wilds Mountain Island is what we're dealing with. A 1/1's never going to do enough. Another Oath, and we'll see what the Oath reveals. And an Elvish Visionary is the card in hand. So he is missing some key mana. Does have? I'm surprised he didn't go with the Evolving Wilds there though, and then just went and fetched for something. So because even though he wants to anticipate, that's right. All right, so hopefully we draw into a relevant card here. Tormenting Voice. I will get rid of a land here, I believe. Maybe that's the wrong play. No, so it ends up not, because we get the Sanitarium. So he'll anticipate. Don't think we need to use Collective Brutality quite yet. It's just going to be Goblin Dark-Dwellers, or excuse me, Goblin Dark-Dwellers Collective Brutality. We don't want to use that quite yet, because we have time before any sort of Part the Water Veil shenanigans. So I think that we just go Reality Smasher next turn and force him to deal with the Reality Smasher. And we do need to find like 1 more instant sorcery to get value out of the Goblin Dark-Dwellers, and the Reveler will fill back up our hand and hopefully be enough to finish off our opponent. He's going to tap out for me for an Explosive Vegetation. So, yeah, we can't interact with Chandra, so Reality Smasher still seems like the better play. So he is trying to go for like Chandra next turn. So we'll see what ends up happening. Another part the Water Veil would be pointless right now. It'd just be an expensive explore. Chandra making elementals and forcing me to attack in. It doesn't seem like the greatest play. You can't -5 Chandra. It's negative. He comes out with 4 counters on it. So I think that's probably his best line of play to try to get any sort of value. Still has to anticipate Evolving Wilds that we know about, and Chandra, and Elvish Visionary. So there's 2 unknown cards. So I'm thinking that maybe Transgress is a card that needs to go in the sideboard that would have taken care of the Brazella, and it'd be phenomenal against this sort of deck. Over possibly just Prying Questions. He's going to go with another Explosive Vegetation. So at this point, I think I have to go Goblin Dark-Dwellers into the Collective Brutality. I'm assuming he's going to cast his other Elvish Visionary as well. Alright, so he's going to use Elvish Visionary probably just to soak up as much damage as possible. No, he's not going to do that. I could go Collective Brutality for 3 modes and get rid of all of these. I don't think that's the right line of play. I don't think we care about the Elvish Visionary. Maybe I should have kept that Mountain in hand. But, I mean, we're so far away from casting this Reveler, we might just have to hard cast it. And here, it is going to be Goblin Dark-Dwellers. And we'll choose 2 modes and get rid of this Battlefield Forge. Could have a counterspell in hand. That's a real possibility. We could go Tormenting Voice. I really think it's Collective Brutality. And we'll go 2 modes. Loses 2 life and I gain 2 life, and reveal. So cast. And get rid of the Battlefield Forge. And that means he has to play a Chandra to wipe my Goblin Dark-Dwellers. I'm pretty certain. Could go Ulamog if we see an Ulamog in hand. He's going to give me an Anticipate. Yeah, Ulamog would be rough. Not quite sure we can beat an Ulamog at this point. And we just plain miss with the Collective Brutality. So, Oath of Nissa, Elvish Visionary, and the Flamecaller. So I would say we're in decent shape. He absolutely has to go Chandra here. Otherwise he's... well, yes, because... no, he could go Elvish Visionary to block the Goblin Dark-Dwellers, and then... I don't know, maybe make himself discard and draw. Because that keeps him alive. Because unfortunately we don't have any burn in our hand. We can Goblin Dark-Dwellers next turn for Tormenting Voice. We just happen to draw into a land, and that's not a terrible play. I'm assuming he has to go Chandra and -4 it, though. He can still Oath of Nissa, dig a little bit. Try to find that Ulamog. Good news is that we are a top deck. Finding a Part the Water Veil would be decent for our opponent. Because at this point, just an Explorer is actually really, really relevant. Wonder where we can make room for Transgress. I think it's just to get rid of Languishes. Languishes, 2 Nahiri's Wrath might just be enough with all the removal. Prying Questions is also a card that can easily be cut. It just still seems extremely... I wish that we got to choose which card went on top. Reveal our opponent's hand, because that would give us information. Definitely Transgress, I think, needs to come in this deck, or possibly the Delirium. We don't get Delirium very easily, though. We have land, sorcery, instant creature that can be in the graveyard quite easily, but not enchantment or artifact, or even Planeswalker, which I think makes the... I can't remember what the card is where you can actually look at opponent's hand, get rid of a card, and if you have Delirium, get rid of all copies. Well, that's insanely good versus Brazella. That's also insanely good versus these Ulamog type decks. And it's a 3 converted mana cost, so it's something we can actually get back. So, yeah, Languishes are still unknown, whether we need them or not. Brilliant Plague's also another card that could easily go in the sideboard versus these Hangerback Walker green-white token space decks. So he's digging. And with the Oath of Nissa, he put... Oh, so he did get the part. That's ridiculous. But it doesn't do a lot. That was just a kind of expensive Explore with his untapped mana. And it was just an island he found with Oath of Nissa. But he finds another Elvish Visionary. So I believe just Chandra and Lumbering Falls are the known, and he played an island, so... No, he in an island in hand as well, I think. So here's Chandra. Okay, so... Chandra, that's interesting how he's just going to do some damage with the... So this does force an attack into Chandra. We get a Lightning Axe. Does that just win the game if he tries to save it with Reality Smasher? We attack everything at Chandra, he loses Chandra. No, Chandra goes down to 1, and then we can Lightning Axe. Or we can Lightning Axe, discarding the Reveler, Lightning Axe again, and then he just dies. Right? Yes. So just Lightning Axe. This just sounds so bad. Lightning Axe and Elvish Visionary. We get back a Goblin Dark-Dwellers, Lightning Axe. Oh, we don't have a card. We don't have a card for it. So I believe we just attack into Chandra. I don't like this play. Well, there's that, too. He does have to discard a card, which he discards an island. Alright, so he's going to be able to wipe the board with Chandra. So I think what we just do here is we Goblin Dark-Dwellers. Discard the Lightning Axe. Whoops, what are we doing here? Oh yeah, discard Lightning Axe. And this forces the Chandra. It should force the Chandra, depending on if he draws another top deck. He's going to loot with Chandra. Which does lead to some scary cards. My Reality Smasher and the Dark-Dwellers does not untap. So this was actually a pretty decent hand here, because I can actually go for not quite the kill. So we're going to Nahiri's Wrath. The Bedlam Reveler can actually kill off his Chandra and all of his blockers. Or we could discard the Fiery Temper, could split 3 damage, kill all the Visionaries. I think I discard the Reveler at this point. Yeah. And the Fiery Temper. No, we just need it. We can just do the Reveler, because then we can still cast the Fiery Temper. So, Nahiri's Wrath, that's 8 damage. So 1, does it divide? Oh, Nahiri's Wrath deals damage equal to the total converted mana cost of discarded cards to each of up to X. So, whoa. It does say Planeswalkers. So, it doesn't say up to 3. Oh, because it's making me discard all of them. So, undo this. I think we just Nahiri's Wrath, just Chandra. Yeah. Because we have to... X is the amount of discarded cards. So, we can discard the Reality Smasher here. And just kill Chandra and keep the Bedlam Reveler. No, we kill the Bedlam Reveler here, I believe. Should have discarded Fire Temper to kill a Visionary, too. I want to keep... Yeah, that was bad. So I want him to actually make the Lumbering Falls here, and then just block with 2 Elvish Visionaries in the Lumbering Falls. And that way I can just Fire Temper off of Elvish Visionary, and then kill the Falls. Okay, that's how he's just going to do it. Okay, so we get rid of 2 Elvish Visionaries. Awesome. Three cards in our opponent's hand. 2 more Park the Water Veil is possibly in his deck. More Chandras, sure. Chandra can't kill Reality Smasher at this point, though. Crush of Tentacles. He doesn't Surge it, though. Which is really fortunate for us, because I'm not... We could actually cast back the Nahiri's Wrath, though, to kill it. So this is last... I believe that's his last oath, right? 1, 2... Oh, no, because that returns his oath, too. That is cool. That is cool. But he just must have lands left in his hand. Now, I could Fire Temper end a turn and just rely on Reality Smasher. He does have an Elvish Visionary that he can cast as well. But that is a huge sign that he doesn't have anything he could have cast and then cast the Crush of Tentacles with Surge. So he's got a lot of huge either cards in hand or a bunch of lands. Crazy matchup. I don't know if we're going to be able to go the duration in 3 games with this. Down to 12 and 15 minutes. And he's definitely thinking about... Can't get like a spell, which is what I think he needs. Dragler Atarka goes into his hand. And Visionary. Which barely keeps him alive. But then I can just top deck into a Fiery Temper. Could have a counterspell as well. She's going to go down to a 1. So close. Which he does have mana for a Dragler Atarka and hopefully nothing else. Because we can just get the Goblin Dark-Dwellers back. He does not discard a card. Okay, so it's game. I don't know why he's using more of his time clock. I think he should just concede here, because we do have the kill on board with the Goblin Dark-Dwellers. Or we'll just do this. So yeah, Transgress should be the card. Self-Inflicted Wound is okay. I'm not sure. Collective Defiance is great here. Collective Brutality is great here. Kolaghan's Command is probably unnecessary. Discarding a card and not really doing anything else. Nahiri's Wrath is okay too, but this is where Thought-Knots and Reality Smashers, I think, are going to be the cards of choice. Affirmative Floorboards is not necessary. I don't know if it actually fits in this deck. Same with Call the Bloodline. They're both kind of awkward. I can understand versus like grindy matchups, and actually versus humans, I think Call the Bloodline will be a sweet card. So the Nahiri's Wrath, even though it did do well, I think we can take it out. Lightning Axes also can come completely out. They are completely unnecessary, and I think that just Prying Questions being another 3 damage spell is the route to go. Self-Inflicted Wound could be the other one, but yeah. Yep, we'll submit this. So this hand is okay. Just okay though. Judgment's gonna be kind of awkward. Yeah, everything. Collective Brutality, if we run into another black source, is gonna be good with the Alms. Because we have 9 damage, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage in our hand. And no Oath of Nissa, so far so good. Fire Temper's another good card. So let's just cross our fingers for a... We're going to use Incendiary Flow probably no matter what next turn. Unless he goes Elvish Visionary, then we'll just have some Judgment. Alright, so Oath of Nissa comes out late. He's going to probably need to find a land here. Yes, and he puts an island. So if he throws out the island, that shows us desperation, in my opinion. I mean, he snapped. He picked up that island quick, so. Evolving Wilds. All right, so he did have lands. So here we're just going to... So close to. Close to. Need the land incredibly bad. We still do have a turn, a play to do next turn. So either land source will work. Tireless Tracker. Well, we'll kill the Tireless Tracker. Unfortunately, though, we miss our land drop. So Explosive Vegetation, I mean, Collective Brutality I think we have to cast no matter what. At this point I might just, discard like a Reveler, because it's unnecessary. But I'd love to just hit a land. Prying Questions. So, unfortunately, it's going to be Collective Brutality. We're going to do 2 modes. And just get rid of the Reveler. Magmatic Insight or Anticipate. We'll get rid of the Magmatic Insight. A little more powerful with just that land in hand. But, so he's down to a 15. We have 3, 6, 9, 12. We actually have 15 damage in our hand. But the problem is we're at the mercy of top decks, and Anticipate goes through 3 cards. I still think that it was a little more powerful than the Magmatic Insight, because he still has an island in hand. And he'll have 2 unknowns. But, I mean, this is just horrible luck to keep a 2-lander. And then if we go to turn 6 without drawing a land, that's 6 draws. Nothing you can do about that. A Morph card, which is most likely a Den Protector. That is how you lose a game. So terrible, terrible luck. And I'm sure he'll just get a Tireless Tracker. Which he does do, because that's going to give him basically as much card draws as he wants. Still think we keep this hand, though. So we have to land. Finally, I'll use a Prying Questions. Sets him back a turn, but with Tireless Tracker just pumping out. What we need next turn is probably... I want a Collective Brutality. That would be ideal, because even the Thought-Knot Seer is kind of weak. And just Lumbering Falls. Oh, he took an extra turn. Okay, so we lose this. Ridiculous though. That was 7 draws until we hit a land. And now we're gonna hit the string of lands. So let's go on to the sideboard. Now that we know he has cards like the Tireless Tracker, maybe Kolaghan's Command is just better than something like Alms. But it just dies to Collective Brutality, so actually I don't care. Call the Bloodline can come out. I'm not seeing myself really... We could bring in the Self-Inflicted Wound for the Tireless Tracker. I think it's still better than like Lightning Axe or even Kolaghan's Command. Kolaghan's Command can make him discard a card. Now we'll bring in a Self-Inflicted Wound. I'm actually bringing in 2 of them. And we can take out possibly... I think just like a Tormenting Voice is fine. I think we have plenty of... We'll keep this. This is powerful. Our opponent our Snap keeps his hand as well. Alright, so we need some discard outlets. Hit another land. Alright, so we're good on lands. Probably don't want to hit anymore. There's the Oath of Nissa. Reality Smasher or Thought-Knot Seer would be great to draw into. Yeah, we're definitely going to just snap out of Firecraft and then hope that he actually casts, say, on his turn 3, a Tireless Tracker. Then we can use the Collective Defiance to do 3 damage and kill the Tireless Tracker. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So, 4 damage with the Exquisite Firecraft. And we're hoping for a creature next turn. And we still do need to hit into that land for the Reality Smasher and Goblin Dark-Dwellers. Not a lot of dead draws here. The Thought-Knot Seer would be good, and just another burn spell would be fine. If you missed a land drop, that's huge, because it basically just kind of time walks him and gives us another draw to hit that land. Okay, so that was the perfect scenario. But we need a land next turn. We do have action without a land. Collective Brutality would be fun too. Four mana for an Explosive Vegetation. So again, we're at the mercy of kind of those take extra turns. Every game he's had that turn for Explosive Vegetation. All right, so we need some luck here. We need the Reality Smasher or the Goblin Dark-Dwellers. We do not hit it. I think we just go Alms here. Down to a 10. We actually have 10 damage. In multiple ways. And this is Pilgrimage, gets him a basic land and one in hand. Visionary is pretty meh. And we hit it. So I do believe it's just Goblin Dark-Dwellers here. No, we'll do a Reality Smasher. Hoping he wouldn't have blocked, but he did block, so it does absorb a damage. But at the mercy of two Fiery Tempers. And we have the Goblin Dark-Dwellers coming out next turn. The only thing that really can make us lose is like stringing into Part the Water Veils. I'd be very disappointed if we miss that land drop and it's going to be the difference. This is annoying because it flips Nissa. And he will have... No, he doesn't have the... Yes, he does have the mana for Part the Water Veil. So if he has Part the Water Veil in his hand and taking an extra turn, it's just going to be a Den Protector. So... And we drew the land too. We're just going to attack him. Does he have like a counterspell type ability? Because we could wait till he taps out of an end of turn. Yeah, he's using his Dan Protector. I'm just going to play the safe route. And now we can just kill him fiery tempers. So I'm not sure if he had any sort of counterspell. And that is game. Alrighty, so not bad. Not bad, not bad. We'll go on to the wrap-up video. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching. Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with the wrap-up video for this week's Rogue's Alley. So, Languish is kind of the awkward card. We talked about, and Transgress probably needs to be in this. Transgress is incredibly good versus Bant as well. So I think that Transgress should come in as at least a few of in the... Just probably instead of Prying Questions. I love this card because it's another 3 damage spell. And it does set your opponent back a turn. So, not quite sure that it's good enough in the format. We're going to get rid of the Languishes. Out of the Nahiri's Wrath seemed good. And I think it's a second Nahiri's Wrath is probably fine. We could cut a Nahiri's Wrath from the main. I think that it's the discard outlet from the Nahiri's Wrath is beautiful, though. Off like an Alms and a Fiery Temper, you can basically do 6 damage to 2 targets. That's pretty much fine. The Collective Brutality has been very, very good. From under the Floorboards, I'm trying to think if there's a match that this actually is relevant against. I'm thinking possibly Humans, as it could come in, like, against Humans, you'd probably take out Tormenting Voice, Reality Smashers, some of these later burn-type spells, possibly, maybe the Bedlam Revelers, and then that way Collective Brutality can come in, and from under the Floorboards, and Self-Inflicted Wounds could come in, and then Nahiri's Wrath. But it just might not be good enough in... I still want to try it, though. I still want to keep at least a copy. Kolaghan's Command continued to impress. I think Kolaghan's Command is fine. Lightning Axes, too, are great. The Alms, I thought, are pretty good. So, Call the Bloodline could actually come over to the sideboard. I think Prying Questions is just not going to quite be good enough. 3 Transgress is probably the right number. We have the Goblin Dark-Dwellers, so I think this is the list I would run. And this gives an overall good game plan versus the majority of decks out in the metagame at the moment. The only thing I could think of is possibly bring in another hate card versus the Shambling Vents, but do I need to hate that out? That's the other thing that I was thinking about is possibly, is there any way we can put a Wandering Fumarole in this deck? I think it'd just be too hard to activate with only the Shivan Reefs. We'd have to go like Evolving Wilds and put a One of Island in there. But a Manland is something this deck probably could benefit from. I don't think we want to do... I also thought about the sacrifice lands, the one that makes them sacrifice a creature or 2 damage to target creature player. They're probably not quite good enough either. Exquisite Firecraft, sorcery speed again. I think that the Collective Defiance is probably a better card than Exquisite Firecraft. It does most of the things that Firecraft... The uncounterable effect could actually become relevant versus like the Spirits. That's another matchup we didn't see. So, yeah, we'll figure out, I think just playtesting this more, we'll figure out the right numbers of each. Exquisite Firecraft is also the best burn spell at the moment as far as most damage output at 4. I actually even thought about putting in the enchantment in this deck, the Demonic Pact. I think in a dedicated burn list, Demonic Pact could be a curve topper, but that would probably be a different deck list as well that doesn't necessarily use the Reality Smashers, Bedlam Revelers, and then you just try to curve out at 4, because between like 4 Exquisite Firecrafts and 4 Demonic Pacts, that's 8 4 damage, or 8 cards that can do 4 damage, with the Incendiary Flows doing 3 damage, with the Fiery Tempers doing 3 damage to Alms of the Vein. There's a pretty decent burn package right there. So And one of the cool things also about Demonic Pact is you can actually use that last mode of making a player. Is it a player, or let's take a look at Demonic Pact opponent. So you actually can't make yourself discard 2 cards. So does 4 damage to target creature or player, gain 4 life, target opponent discards 2 cards and draw 2 cards. What I like about Demonic Pact is usually in a curve topper for a burn, you're not going to have 4 more turns after you cast this Demonic Pact. So at first it's going to do 4 damage. Next you're going to draw 2 cards. Or maybe make your opponent discard 2 cards, and then lastly, just you Hail Mary the last draw 2 cards type effect. So that is also in the making. I actually do want to try Demonic Pact type card. I don't think you'd want to go the Harmless Offering route as a way as an alternate just to give it to them. I think that's too clunky, but it could be in here. You could take out the Reality Smashers completely and go like a Demonic Pact heavier burn route. I think that's fine. Possibly even cutting like Lightning Axe type cards and just go straight to the face, which we saw this with like Boros Burn not too long ago with Return of Ravnica and Theros, and that's exactly how that deck operated. It didn't even care what your opponent was doing. It just tried to keep swinging things at right at the face, right at the face, right at the face. And Reality Smasher I still think fits in that type of strategy. It'd be cards like Kolaghan's Commands and these Collective Brutalities that I think that would be the cards that you would replace, and then just go an all-out, all damage to the face type cards. There's also a 5 damage to the face, the Sarkon's Rage that could go in a deck like that. But I mean, that's a deck for a different day. I think this archetype has a lot of options and has a lot of exploring to do, and is very, very competitive. I think that it can compete with the metagame as you saw. None of those were joke decks. I actually did play 2 decks that weren't fine-tuned and 2-0'd both of them. There was like a white-black, I don't even want to know what to call it, kind of white-black spirits that had some iffy cards that just weren't, it looked like it was maybe a new player, and as well as a mono-blue aggro list that I didn't record either because it was the same thing. The games were over quite quickly. And just not very good videos. So all in all, the deck went 4-2 in this little testing that I did, and 2-2 versus the tier 1 decks. So I think that it's viable as an option, especially if you're just playing an FNM or your local game store. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this list though. Any additions, subtractions, you could actually, with kind of this discard type outlet, you could actually go some of the vampire, the 2-drop Madness vampires. I think that's actually quite viable, as well as Jace. I think Jace would be very, very good in this deck, but a lot of us do not want to fork out $140, $150 for a playset of Jace with this close to rotation. Good news about this deck, too, is the majority of this deck does not go anywhere. I think the only cards we're going to get rid of is the Exquisite Firecraft and the Kolaghan's Command. And then the mana base will probably get replacements for the forges and whatnot. I'm thinking they still want to keep Eldrazi's relevant in the next format, and I'm thinking there'll be plenty. I mean, we still have, like, as far as colorless sources, there's still Mirrorpool. There's still plenty of cards that I think can be used as colorless sources. A 2-color deck is quite easy to fix, in my opinion. So, anyway, be looking forward to possibly some more testing on this on my channel. See if we can actually run more of this against the Gauntlet. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.